Yeah, we're sitting there today and I hear a noise. I'm like, what's that noise? And my daughter goes, think the wind, mother. Oh, I'm sorry. It didn't sound like the wind. I can't like open the garage door for my cats. Of course, the other day the garage door was open in the nanosecond it wasn't windy and they caught a lizard. That was not good.
All right, and we are live.
We are live?
Well, we got 2 more minutes still. I bet we're live on the video. I'm sorry.
Okay. I was thinking you were leaving.
No, sorry. We're just waiting on Bob to join us.
Bob to come back.
Chris, how you doing? He's coughing.
Don't worry about that.
No problem. I'm sure you saw the agenda. We have one quick item prior to yours.
Take your time.
Oh, Chris.
Chris, do you know Lynn Gruber? She's one of our consultants.
I have heard of Lynn Gruber. I have never met her, but hi, Lynn.
Hi, Chris.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing quite well.
So you're Cooperative Strategies?
I am with Cooperative Strategies.
Okay, great. Yeah.
And you are Lynn of Copper and Gruber.
That's right. Yeah. So Doug, did you work with Doug Floyd?
Yeah, I actually do work with him. I sit across the way from him.
Okay. So yeah. So he's at our firm now.
Oh,
You prefer it like that?
Whatever.
I will.
All right, I think we're about time. I think the time is, oh no.
We got a minute and we're still waiting for Bob, so hopefully he'll jump on soon. Lynn, we were talking about Lynn. Are you getting wind down by you?
Yes. We had a lot of wind today.
same here. Actually, one of my, you guys were making fun of the garbage cans. I had a situation too.
Well, it's been that way for the last week and a half. I swear I saw Dorothy fly by several times.
It's the Wicked Witch you got to worry about, Jim.
The Wicked Witch.
Cows go flying.
Yeah, when we see the cows go by.
So are you in Irvine, Chris, or are you in
No, I'm
Colorado?
actually across the river in Riverside.
In Rivers. Oh, okay.
Oh, you know it's windy if it's windy in Riverside, because the Santa Ana River, it'll be blowing crazy here in Rupa Valley. You go across the river and it's like a light breeze over there. So
Come on, Fred.
this Bob, no. Oh, he went to the Don't Wrong meeting.
That's what they were saying about that fire at Laguna. They normally don't get.
You went to the wrong meeting.
They normally go.
Don't get the
Get the
wind
second
that
link that I sent
strong
you.
where that fire was this
Oh.
morning.
Yeah, the fire was in the wrong, I think the fire was in the wrong area.
There's 2
It's
links
in
there.
the
Top one
backyard.
was for the meeting, the bottom one's for the second meeting. Okay. Bob's logging on right now. Yes.
Corny should get a new one of those maps.
And Rebecca Bog will do the announcement of closed session.
Yes.
All right, I think we are ready now.
Right. So it is now 6:30. Exactly.
We will begin our regularly scheduled meeting, but prior to that, we do have a statement from Bob regarding our closed session meeting.
Yes, absolutely. Let me find your agenda first. Gosh. Dead Space has a terrible sound to it.
Don't worry.
I am worried I had it all here. Here we go. Yes, at this time, it's appropriate to announce that the board conferred with its property negotiator pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.8 in closed session prior to tonight's meeting, and it was concerning the 2 parcels of property listed on the agenda. And that concludes the announcement.
Thank you, Bob. As stated earlier, we will begin with our streaming at this time. I do want to make a statement prior to that, and that is an update on my vision issues. I have been notified that it will be another 4 weeks for my recovery. So as I stated earlier, I will continue to conduct my president duties to the best of my ability. I have asked for some assistance, and I'll call upon that when need be. So we do have the Pledge of Allegiance that will be conducted by
Mr. Godinez.
Mr. Godinez, please.
All right. Put your hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I will roll call, please. Roll call, yes. Edgar Castellan,
Present.
Jose Luis Godinez,
Present.
Rebecca Rodete Byrne,
Present.
Kim Gerald Johnson. Here. Ross Leisure.
Here.
Presentations? Do we have any?
No presentations tonight.
Okay, and I have not received any public comments.
May we have staff reports, Mr.
Yes, Madam President, in regards to the consent calendar, item 4.1, the minutes for the meeting of January 27th, I did place on the dais for each of the board members an updated agenda in relations to item
5.4.
5.4. That was our goal setting. I originally just stated receive and file, and it was actually updated to say, where we go here, the board of directors agreed with the proposed goals as presented, and Director Godinez requested the district prepare a fiscal emergency plan for any future pandemic or unforeseen emergencies. So that's respectfully submitted.
I move approval of the consent calendar as amended.
Second.
And we do need a roll call for this one because involved in that is a resolution. Item 4.5 for Assembly Bill 361 to continue that for another 30 days. So I will do a roll call. President, with your approval.
Yes, please.
Edgar Castellan,
Yes.
Jose Luis Godinez,
Yes.
Rebecca Rodorte Byrne,
Yes.
Kim Gerald Johnson. Aye. Ross Leisure.
Yes.
Thank you. And then the next item.
5.1, adoption of resolution of intention number 2022-04, the board of directors, the Root Area Recreation Park District. This will be annexation number 29 to CFD 2016-1. And as always, Ms. Gruber and Mr. Owen are available should we have any questions. But this is a commercial property located, I'll pull up here the map here for you so it's easier to see here. I don't know why the document looks so funny.
Sure does.
This is the end of Troy Court, which is off of Galena, just just west of Felspar and backs up to Van Buren Boulevard. And they're constructing two commercial buildings. And we'd be available for any questions.
Have the other commercial buildings in that tract been built or no?
Yes, and they're being levied currently.
So everything else on that cul-de-sac, except for these 3 parcels?
Yes.
Okay. Just curious.
Yeah, they were actually annexed into 2006-1 a number of years, a number of years ago,
Oh,
before 16-1.
I will, Madam Chairman, I move that the Board of Directors approve and adopt the submitted resolution of attention number 2022-04 for annexation number 29 to CFD number 2016-1.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right.
And all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? Motion, it is moved and carried. 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thanks, Lynn. Thank you.
All right, item 5.2, this is the redrawing our district election boundaries. And we have on the phone with us, Chris, I'm gonna butcher your last name again. Could you say it for me?
It is Rashidian.
Rashidian, I would have not said
It's
that.
very, it's simpler than how it's spelled.
As the board is aware, we have contracted with Cooperative Strategies for the redrawing of our district boundaries. At our last meeting, we received the presentation that basically confirmed the need for bringing them in compliance with the current election laws. And I'm gonna turn it over to Chris. Do you have a presentation you want to share screen?
I do have a presentation and I am going to be sharing my screen, so give me 1 second. Oh, I cannot share a screen.
I think I need to give you, there you go.
Okay.
You should be able to, and I'll stop my sharing. There we go.
Okay, before I begin, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
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 Perfect. Okay, so today we're going to be discussing the recap of what we discussed last week of our initial findings, and then presenting 3 scenarios for the Harupa area Recreation and Park District. As we discussed last meeting, we have 58% out of compliance based off of the 2020 census. Although we have seen a significant increase of change in population from 2010. If we take a look at the variance of what we would like to have, which is approximately 23,435 people, we vary from 18,649 all the way up to 32,191 people. And so that gives us a total variance of 57.8%. As I mentioned earlier, these percentages are based off of this 23,435 figure. So when we take a look at the total population compared to the 18 and over population, it's relatively proportionally the same. You have a majority Hispanic, anywhere between 18 to 20% white, about 4 to 5% African American, less than 1% Native American, and so on and so on. And when we take a look at this heat map detailing where the populations of Hispanic Latinos are concentrated, as you see, they are majority residing in the Rubidoux area, along the Etiwanda, Van Buren area. And again, this is not a total population as a number. This is the proportion of Hispanics as a percentage within a census block. So, and as I mentioned earlier, the census block could be anywhere from the size of an apartment building all the way to the size of approximately half a county. It all depends on the population that resides within the census block. So the current trustee area that we see now, we have trustee area number 1 situated in the center part of the Harupa district, and then you go along to division area number 2. Division area number 3 runs along the 15, 4 runs along the 60, and 5 is the main Rubidoux area. So as I mentioned earlier, we have to achieve the approximately equal number of inhabitants in each director area, and the maps have to be drawn with the Federal Voting Rights Act And simultaneously, we're taking into considerations of keeping the areas as compact and contiguous as much as possible. We try to respect communities of interest as much as possible, follow the man-made and geographic features as much as possible, such as Route 60, Interstate 15, Van Buren, Mission Road. And additionally, we will respect incumbency if it's possible and other local considerations from the board and members of the public that lives in the Harupa Valley Eastvale area. So to begin with the scenarios, I know everybody likes looking at maps, so we are getting to the maps. Scenario number one, we balance out the population in all trustee areas and we significantly reduce the variance to below 10%. And when I will present the map, you'll see that this map does not really differ from the prior map, which you'll see on the juxtaposition. And we're also respecting incumbency. And we have a very high percentage of the Hispanic Latino in all trustee areas. As you see, we are approximately in the 23,000 range, anywhere from 22,989 for Division Area 3, which is our lowest, and 23,996, which is our highest, which gives us a variance of 4.3%. This keeps us in compliance. Oops. So as I mentioned earlier, this map still tries to respect incumbency as much as possible while still trying not to do the shifting of the boundaries. If you notice on this map, you'll see the blue borders. That is the current trustee areas. And I don't know if you are able to see the boundary along the 60, but there's the boundary along the 60. And if you see over here, we just taken a little bit of the northern Rubidoux area. We expand the trustee or the division area number 4, kind of going along Belgrave. But all in all, it's really not all that much of a change, with the exception of division area 2 going along Limonite and down to 15. And if we take a look over here, we have the majority Hispanic Latino population within all of the division areas. And again, we're in that 4.3% variance. Now, scenario number 2, this one brings it down to below 5%. And we also keep the areas compact as contiguous while respecting incumbency. The other side of the coin of this, though, is when we take a look at the map is not does not really necessarily follow the census blocks as the prior map that I presented, as it definitely details wide a range of boundary shiftings for this scenario number 2. As you see over here, you'll still have the main area of downtown Rubidoux as its own trustee area. We have the division area along the 60, as well as the center part of the district. But the major change that you'll notice is that the western region of the district is definitely having the population center along the southwestern part, being the Etiwanda Belgrave as its own area, and the other center part west of Van Buren and north of Belgrave as its own other division area. And if you see here, we have two, based off of the CVAP population, we have 2 division areas as Hispanic Latino plurality, but you still maintain the Hispanic Latino majority across all 5 division areas. And we're still within a very low tolerance of 3.2%. Now, the final scenario is the penultimate scenario. It brings your variance down to 1%. And this one still respects incumbency, but when you review the population in scenario 3, you'll see every division area is very close to that magic number of 23,435. So you'll see again over here, you'll have the division area running along north of the 60, but it's creeping a little bit further south along Pedley. You'll have the Rubidoux Center along Mission over here. You'll have another division area along the center part of the district. But as in the prior scenario, you'll have the 2 division areas, one going diagonal, except this one's more compact, and the other one in the southwestern region that also trails a little bit further past Etiwanda down Limonite. And if we take a look over here, based off of the CVAP data, you have 4 out of 5 Latino Hispanic majority, but off total population, you still achieve the Latino Hispanic majority across all 5 division areas. So all in all, just so we can visualize them together, scenario 1, we tried to keep the map as similar to what it once was while still respecting incumbency, and also trying to keep the census blocks as similar to the current map as it is. This map still respects incumbency, but we bring it down to 3.2%. And scenario 3 additionally respects incumbency, but much like scenario 2, you'll see that there is a division area that runs diagonal, and you'll have the final division area in the southwestern region of the district. So as we all know, we just had the initial evaluation meeting last meeting, and we just recently completed the maps, which we are presenting today. And in the meantime, from now until February 24th, unless if the board states otherwise for the final trustee adoption date, we are more than welcome to conduct a public hearing or community input meetings, as well with receiving input from members of the board, members of the community. And as Colby mentioned in the last meeting, in a perfect world, this would be wrapped up, best case scenario, by February 24th, and we would send the map to the county registers of voters. However, if the boards would like additional community input meetings, we are, as well with additional public hearings on this map, we are more than amenable to conduct them for you. So any questions?
If I would, Chris, Bob, if you would chime in, this is a public hearing, so we need to formally open the public hearing before we take questions from the board, correct? You're muted.
Yes, and it would be appropriate for Madam President to just ask if there are any members of the public interested in speaking on this item at this time.
Are there any members of the public that would wish to speak on this subject at this time?
We do have a member online. You can raise your hand, or you can speak up now if you would like. I believe she's raised her hand, so you can go ahead and speak, Ms. Navarez.
Hello, thank you so much, Chris, for your presentation. My name's Annabelle and Navarez, and I have family that lives here in Jurupa Valley. I'm also an IE resident that was active in the process of redistricting for the state, Senate, Assembly, etc. And I appreciate the redistricting maps and the breaking down of the variance for a lot of these ones. I am in support of map 3. which had the least amount of variance. I think it splits up some of the rural areas appropriately as well. And I also I did have a question. I was probably thinking it has to do with population in terms of, say, like the purple area. I think that's trustee area 5, or no, why it doesn't cross into Rubidoux. Or if there's a reason why some of these district lines were not drawn in the to keep the communities of interest, say like Rubidoux and Glen Avon separate. I'm guessing it has to do somehow with like the meeting the population numbers, but I was just curious as to why the district for the blue region still goes across the top, as opposed to focusing more on say Glen Avon and having the purple district go more towards the right across the freeway into Belltown. Other than that, I am in support of map 3. Thank you.
Being no other public comments, Madam President, I think it'd be appropriate to close the public hearing at this point.
All right, we will close the public at this time. Do we need to know, do you know at the time, or just close it? No, just close it. Okay, it is closed.
Madam Chairman, do we want to have Chris address the question that the member of the public had?
Would you?
Is that okay? Would that be appropriate?
I think so. Yeah. Bob, would
Is
that
that
be
fine?
appropriate?
Yeah, I can address her question. I got the first part of the question, but I'm going to need the second part of the question as to I got the second part of the question. I just missed the first part of the question. So I can second part of the question. So the reason why we drew map 3 just to achieve the population going a little bit further down the 60 or a little past the 60 on Pedley Road into Glen Avon. And yeah, it does look like Glen Avon has been split into 3, but this is, again, we drew it pursuant to the CVRA. And additionally, when we designed this map, it goes deeper into the census blocks, which is essentially the lowest unit of measurement as defined by the US Census in terms of gauging how many people are within a small little region. So when you try to split census blocks, it could get a little bit more dicey in terms of legally questioning the district. If you happen to have a property line being the separating division area, then that could call into questions of other legal matters. So we tried to keep it as consistent based off of the data due to the census blocks being the lowest unit of measurement within here. What was your initial question, Ms. Annabelle Navarez?
Yeah, like for example, I was wondering why, say, Rubidoux doesn't extend across the freeway to the right-hand side, and having the yellow region maybe extend from above Riverview towards the freeway, and then giving more of the to the right, that purple region right here. Yeah, so that way the yellow district extends that way, and just having more of the blue region focus perhaps on Armstrong Road to the left, and to include Glen Avon and anything north of Jurupa. I don't know if that is, again, I don't know how the census blocks, Jurupa is that diagonal line across. So just that little yellow white, that white yellow area would be part of the blue district.
This part right over here?
Yeah, anything above Jurupa Valley. If we do choose to keep the communities in together.
That's a great question. And again, that falls under the trying to get the populations within the census blocks. Trying to get the populations within the census blocks. When you attempt to break or split a census block when drawing a map, as I mentioned earlier, could draw into other legal questions of trying to make the map be more favorable of one community of interest or another. But again, these are the conceptual trustee areas, and based off of the public input, we can attempt to make these maps as close to how the community would want them on the next hearing. So that is some really great input, ma'am.
Madam President, I think it'd be appropriate for board member questions at this point.
Okay, go into the board members, please. Any comments?
Questions right now and then comments later, or? Just questions?
Yes, I apologize. Questions first, comments later.
Okay.
Questions first and comments. Do we want to go to each, or are we getting voluntarily comments from whomever has comments?
You mean questions?
Sorry. Again,
I don't have any
yes,
questions.
thank you.
I don't have any
Yeah, I
questions.
have more comments than questions, so.
Same.
All right, so we can move on to comments. Now that we've covered the questions. Yes, Mr. Ross, we had.
Yeah, looking at Division 5, which is the pink area. I'm trying to decide the
Pink or purple, I'm sorry.
purple, I guess,
Yeah.
I hard to tell. But anyway, it's area 5. As I look at where the line is drawn on the west end,
Ms. Malaysia, which map are you referring to?
1, 2, or 3.
actually I'm looking at 3, but if you look at the yellow area that's now gone into the pink area, there's a geographical boundary there. There's a mountain there, and it kind of stops everything at that point, and one side doesn't cross over to the other. So it doesn't make any real sense to put that yellow on that other side of the hill.
And that blue line is currently where that hill is.
Right, that blue line is where it actually divides physically, geographically. There's no streets that cross over, nothing that happens up there. So I don't know if that would be doable, what the numbers would change. So basically what I like is if you look at scenario 1, what you have north of the 60 freeway remained blue, and then all of area 5 go to the 60 freeway, and then the rest of it essentially left the way it was. Except for that one area could go back to Division 1.
That little bit of purple.
A little bit of, yeah, purple, pink, whatever it is there in the corner. Do you understand what I'm talking about,
Chris?
Chris?
Can we pull up map scenario 1, Chris?
Yes. Sorry for going a little fast. There we go.
Okay, so as that's drawn there, the dividing line on the western edge of that division is a geographical dividing line. And it doesn't make any sense to move the divisions from left or right across that geographical boundary. And then the part of the division that has gone above the 60 freeway, I think it should just, the division just end at the 60, just take that top part, leave it blue. And then just make Division 5 to the 60 freeway. If you understand my meaning. Kind of like it's drawn on scenario 3.
Yeah.
Where it ends the north end. Or 2, yeah. Is that clear what I'm trying to say, or?
Okay.
Okay, I'm just looking at it, just makes more sense to do it that way and not cross that geographical boundary. If it's, I don't know how the numbers will work out. That was my comment on that
Okay.
particular area.
Am I next, Madam Chairman? Madam Chairman, am I next? Oh, okay. Okay, so I just want to say that I've spent a considerable amount of time staring at these maps. And finally, what I concluded was I like the starting point of scenario 1 probably the best for a variety of reasons. Starting on the west-hand side, I think it's important that all of that strip of Eastvale, even though there really are no people living north of Belgrade, I think it's important to keep that entire strip of Eastvale together in one district. I think it's an important gesture towards Eastvale, and I just think that will save us heartache in the future. I don't want anyone to say, oh, look we broke up Eastvale. So that's significant to me there. I like the fact that Division 2, while it does now take in that a little bit of area down south of Limonite, I like the fact that it's a little more compact and doesn't go from Pedley up, hightailing it all the way up to the county line in the corner. And so I like the fact that it's a little more compact. Then my trustee area, I mean, doesn't change very much. I do think that that little bit of purple that comes into my area, that little bit of trustee area 5 I think that the line should just stay the same there, and that shouldn't be trustee area 5 now. It should remain in trustee area 1, again, because of the geographic boundaries and that sort of thing, and the fact that those hills are there. And then I feel like Mr. Leja said, I agree with him. I think that Division 5 should stop at the 60 freeway. I think that little piece of blue that is trustee area 4 should be in trustee area 5. And then I think that area that is north of the 60 freeway should be part of the same division, because it's important to me that as best we can to kind of keep areas consolidated. The other thing I like about this map is it's very, very clear. You don't have to go into great detail. You don't have to go down to the street level to figure out what division you're in. I'm south of Mission, I'm in this division. I'm north of Mission, I'm in that division. I'm east of Camino Real and west of, you see what I'm saying? And I just think that it makes it the easiest for people in our district to be able to quickly ascertain what division they live in. They want to run, they can see what division they're in. They don't have to go to a lot of trouble. When I first came onto the board, oh my gosh, the maps were just crazy. And what I had to go through to figure out whether I was in my division, what division I was even in, it was kind of crazy. And I feel like this map clearly lays that out. We know, you don't have any division lines that are weird streets or anything like that. So that is not very much anyway. And that was my thought on this map. It did not solve the problem of the Division 4 swooping across the top. Let that go, because I don't know, since every one of our maps does that, I have to presume that it would have been very difficult to change that otherwise. So that's my thoughts on it.
Any response, Chris, or any more clarification needed?
Not much of the clarification, but yeah, trying to get the top region of the district, elsewhere was in fact very difficult to achieve that.
I think a good starting point would be scenario 2. I think Ms. Johnson raises a good point about Eastville. I don't know how that would complicate in terms of rearranging the rest of the map. But I think how this current map is, I think this is a good starting point for us. I don't know.
Why?
So I think, well, one of the current issues with Eastville, the western side, is that the population grew so much that it's very hard to, I don't know how easy it is to keep it together, or in terms of arranging it. I like how Mr. Godinez's division separates at Van Buren as division scenario 1 and 2 have it. I don't mind having the line being divided for my district at the 60. as it relates to Division 5 and pretty much all. It shows it here in scenario 2. I think here the trick is resolving Mr. Godinez's district and Ms. Burns' district.
Chris, if I could just ask a question, if you, I don't know if you have the data in front of you, but north of Cantu Galliano, west of Etowanda, there's virtually no residents there, correct?
Right where my mouse is over here, you mean?
Yeah, north of Cantu Galliano, west of Etowanda.
Right up here?
No, this whole, can you see my mouse? I don't know.
No, I cannot see your mouse. Here, let me stop
Yeah.
sharing. You can share.
Oh, I have to share again, yeah. I don't think it's necessary. I'll keep, I don't want to take it away from you at this point. I think in regards to Ms. Johnson's questions earlier about Division 2 sweeping all the way across, I think it's somewhat of, just to keep in mind, I think it's somewhat of a visual misconception because there's not it's all industrial up in there. We all understand that. I just wanted to point that out. So the reality is, I don't think it matters what division you put that into, it's not going to change the census blocks significantly. I honestly can only think of one house in that area. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
You're saying the area around the Galliano Winery?
Yeah, I think the only house I can think of is any residents that may live at the winery property. Other than that, that whole area over there is just warehouses upon warehouses.
Right.
But I do understand it's the perception of it's such a long oblong.
Yes.
So I actually like scenario 2 as well, stands for the geographical barrier that's between 1 and 5 and.
Chris, I need to give you screen rights back.
I don't know. how that would shape-
Yeah, oh, I got them back. Okay.
Scenario 2.
Okay.
So, but also, can we keep Eastville together? Will that, since there's probably no residents there, I don't think that should affect the variance too much.
We can attempt to do so and present potential new scenarios or sub scenarios to the maps.
So I'll ask you the same question. What is it you like about 2? What do you think 2 achieves that the other 2 don't?
I just think that it's a little more, as far as my area, it's a little more diverse, I guess, or a little more open. So,
Diverse?
and it keeps, yeah, as far as the reach opening up, it's not just Reloma, Glen Avon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it opens up a little more. And I think also this sort of evens out the amount of parks we have per area. Or somewhat, I guess.
Do you have an idea of how many parks will be on scenario 2? How many extra parks will be in the area?
So my question for Mr. Godinez is your proposal to take Division 3 basically straight up at Etowanda? As the eastern boundary? Or just to put Etowanda, just to put Eastville? Because the reason I ask is there's the development along Belgrave, Etowanda, Cantu Galliano, Wineville.
Wouldn't that change the variance too much?
That would change the variance. I don't know what to what significance. That would be where Chris would have to do some research, obviously.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's 3 parks within that community. that I was talking about there, that super block as I refer to it.
Which community and which?
Cantu, Galliano, Etowanda, Wineville, Belgrave. There's 3 parks in that area.
Oh, in that I can see there, just south of Cantu Galliano. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have the parks on here, so I can't see where those are. I feel like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm not gonna lose sleep over this, okay? So I mean, you know, it's not like I'm gonna go down dying trying. I don't want anyone to think that. These are purely my opinions. While I did not like the swooping division across the top, to some extent that has gotten better in that more houses have been built up there. You know, for the longest time, there weren't hardly anything being built up there. And more houses are going to be built in there around Rattlesnake Mountain, the Rio Vista specific plan. That being the case, I'm wondering if, to some extent, scenario 2 to me almost makes that situation worse because it takes it past where the old line was all the way to whatever that street is over there.
I guess the canal.
Grapevine Street.
Oh, Grapevine Street, okay. And including Country Village, et cetera, and then brings it down in that little knob that comes down. I feel like by keeping that division above Mission Boulevard and the other division below Mission Boulevard, while you're breaking up Glen Avon, at least the people north of Mission Boulevard are all together in one, and the people south of Mission Boulevard are all together in another, as opposed to the way it is now, which is kind of like whoopee whoopee. And then over there at Van Buren and I don't know, over on the western edge, you have some kind of weirdness over there. You see where it's just kind of, again, it's that scenario that I would prefer to avoid, which is
Ms.
who
Johnson,
the heck knows?
Van Buren about where I think Chris is trying to.
Okay,
Let me look at your map and I can help you maybe. Point to it.
yeah, that area in there. I don't know what to call that.
Okay. Well, Chris, I think she's looking at Van Buren and Belgrave on the
Right
east.
there.
Yeah, right in that area.
The triangle.
Yeah,
I feel like there's a little area in there south of the blue line that is kind of complicated and not sure. Like that little tiny bit there and this and that and the other. And I just think that it would be nice if that was cleaned up a little neater for people's sake to figure out where they live and what division they're in. But again, just my thoughts and opinion, but not.
I think that's an industrial little section, right?
Is it?
yes.
That one, the little cinder blocks and.
Do you know what? There's yeah, that's actually Oracle Block. You're correct.
Yeah.
So really no one's living there.
No
It
one's
really
living there.
doesn't matter.
No. I get what you're saying, and that's one of those areas that. Yeah, that's Oracle Block. You're correct, Mr. Costello.
And I don't know, is that rutile that the blue line is on? That's Oracle Block in that area?
I think rutile is actually the boundary between the green, actually, that's Lindsay.
This is rutile.
Yeah, this is Lindsay right here, that the dividing line is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean.
There's a few houses on Lindsay, but like 5 or 6.
The issue is if Division 1 gives up all that, on scenario 2, gives up all that area over the top of the hill, that's gonna be a few people, quite a few people there, then what does it gain to even that out? So I don't know if I gain something down south of Limonite, or I gain something in that blue area that's come down south of Mission, but if we get rid of the stuff on the other side of the hill from Division 1, which I really think it makes sense, probably he's gonna have to find someplace else to add. I feel like if we want to see something different than what we're seeing tonight, we need to give him direction. Like
Yes.
on a map that says this, and this, and then maybe another one that says this, and this. But I do feel like we can't just say what we want. We probably need to some extent, come together on at least another couple of scenarios that we want to see next time.
Yes, that would be ideal. One thing I have seen at other input meetings, we give the public the maps and a Sharpie or a pen or a colored pencil, and they draw the map on how they think it should be looking like, and we try to incorporate their feedback into the next iteration of maps.
But that would take another meeting because we don't have those folks here tonight to do that.
No, we don't.
Chris or Bob, I guess, if the board members were to take their maps, they have paper maps in front of them and mark them up per se. And then I scan them over to you, would that be any violations? And we include them as part of the minutes?
No, as long as you keep copies of them, I mean, no. They're public records, but that's fine.
That's fine, if that's what you'd like us to do.
I was just putting that, this is not me, this is the board. I really tried to, I do not want to interject any of this. I just wanted to point out that one area of, no land, or no residence.
Maybe I think what I'm understanding for Kim and possibly Ross, Kim, you'd like to see something close to scenario 1 on the Eastville side, right?
Yes,
Something like
or
that.
at the very least, all of East Vale in
Okay.
one division.
And then you'd like the boundary from 1 and 5 to be something like scenario 1.
At the top of the hill,
Okay.
yes. And, yeah. Scenario 1, yeah.
Including that bottom part. A little.
No, that bottom corner here, I think that would stay with Division 1.
Yeah, whichever one you go, yeah, it would,
And then instead of Division 5 going above the 60, just bring that in and bring it to the 60, make the 60 the boundary, the northern boundary. And then if Kim still needed, Division 1 still needed more homes, they could always drop that line down below the trailer park and you can take that area down there. I don't know if it would help balance out the amount of.
Ross, I think the problem with that is below that trailer park there, isn't that the school?
there's houses.
There's a bunch of
Is
houses
there?
down
Okay.
there south of the golf course.
Okay.
You just kind of have to get to them through Riverview, but there are a lot of houses down there. I know I walked all of them.
As a listener, I think what you have suggested, Colby, really sounds to me as something that would really get everybody's opinion on paper. And again, as you stated, you would render those to Chris. And as perhaps we do need, even though it's shorter time, I don't know what that timeline might be, that it sounds to me, each and every one of you would be getting at least some paper to start with, and you would clearly see that. I would suggest that we go forward with that.
Yeah, we can take a few minutes. We can pause the meeting maybe. I don't know what we do.
Can Mr. Owen, would be appropriate to do that, after the meeting and have them submit it? And then we can send them over and then share them as part of the minutes?
I don't know that you put them as part of the minutes, but you can have them do that after the meeting.
But keep them available for public record.
Yeah, exactly. Like you would any other document. Yeah.
Chris, would that be helpful for you?
That would be especially helpful for me, just so that way we can take into consideration of the input, again, from the public as well as the board on the conceptual scenarios that could be addressed at the next meeting, and the board could potentially approve of a new map or do another scenario or do another hearing on it.
And just for clarification purposes, at a minimum, it's a public hearing again at the next meeting.
Correct.
With a possibility of approval, but not required.
Correct.
Okay.
Chris, this is Bob. I noted that Ms. Nevarez asked if you can show on the maps the census blocks. I don't know if that,
I have a heat map of the census blocks,
Nice.
but I don't have the specific census blocks available, unfortunately, on my machine.
I think that'd make it very confusing, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would make it very confusing because a census block, again, could be the size of an apartment building all the way up to the size of the Harupa Hills up there.
So Chris, if you could, that one right there that you're hovering over, is that one census block essentially?
It could potentially be a census block or it could be mini census blocks. I do not know off the top of my
The
head.
same thing, if you go to the left there, if you slide over that kind of pinkish area in the middle, just down, that's potentially one census block as well.
It could potentially be one census block. It could be two. It could be three.
Okay. Yeah, I just find it weird that there's that one dark orange up in that upper corner there, and I know what that is, and there's not a house there. That's weird.
Oh, yeah.
So that is true warehouses.
I would say my only other comment about keeping Eastville together is I don't think it would be, since we know there's not a lot of people living in here, to me, the line ought to go up here, not right along the freeway. So you don't have this and a finger. Does that make sense? To me, it would be better to have,
Can you explain it again?
So Boynville?
like a blind bill, yeah.
Oh.
As opposed to, sorry, what, you can't see the road from way up? You're so young, your eyes. No, does that make sense? It would look kind of weirdly gerrymandered if we went in and then up a little strip. And I think it would better off to kind of pull it over a little bit more. I'll leave this area here in the other district, but just pull it over a little more.
Kind of like scenario 3.
Yes, except continue that all the way up. See how, yeah, like exactly like scenario 3, only just continue that all the way up to the top.
If people from the public wanted to draw their map as well,
They could submit it to me
by when?
soon as possible, honestly.
You want to put a,
Chris, do you need something? We take public comments. We'll take public comments even at the next meeting. But
Yeah.
the more input you got, the sooner the better would be a situation.
That would be the ideal situation, yes.
And we can make these maps available. They're available here at the office. Somebody wants a hard copy. They can come by and pick them up. We'll let them color here if they want, and we can scan them right away, or they can take them.
Where is, that development, the housing development that's across the street from the Space Center? Where is that?
So on your maps here, it would be, I'm looking at scenario number 1. It is north of the 60 freeway,
Mhm.
east of Etiwanda. Is it the Miraloma Village?
Yes, is that like where I see those little streets going?
You see where it says 42?
Yes,
It's right there.
okay. I just wanted to understand where that was in comparison to everything else.
I mean, I don't think we'd have to worry about gerrymandering because it's not by population, the lands by
Yeah.
population,
Oh.
not by land, right?
I was not worried about gerrymandering in the sense of we're doing something to gain something or lose
Yeah.
something. I meant more like just
The perception.
the look of it, yes, yes, yes.
I mean, yeah, at the essence, it's not right.
Yeah, No, I don't think we could gerrymander if we wanted to. I mean, I think we have a situation where
Yes,
no matter where we draw the line,
right, so
we're not leaving anybody out.
I think for either scenario, the sewer scenario, I don't think it would be an issue. All those lines are drawn right there.
How they're drawn along the east, along the west side.
The fact that it splits east and west.
And Chris, did you see the comments from the resident on Zoom as well?
Let me pull it up real quick. Okay, so if there's that type of exercise where public input is asked for, I would appreciate census blocks being delineated within the map so we can use that as guidelines. Okay, I just mentioned it. So when we submit input, I want to make sure I'm not crossing the line within a census block. Okay, I see those. And just generally speaking, again, census blocks, again, could be the size of an apartment building, but generally speaking, they could also be your normal block. They typically follow major, or not major streets, but typical streets. So, you know, if you have 124th Street and Ivy, that could be a border of a census block, theoretically.
They don't divide the middle of a street typically.
They don't divide the middle of a residential street, but they could potentially divide the middle of a residential street.
They go down the middle of the street.
They go down the middle of the street, but it wouldn't stop between two houses.
That is correct. It wouldn't be like a property dividing line of the neighbor on one end and the other neighbor on the other end. Those would not be two census blocks.
But it would be the north side and the east, or the north side and the south side of the street.
That could theoretically be a census block divider, yes.
But everything you provided here is strictly on major thoroughfares or geographic lines.
That is correct.
For what it's worth, my input is I like that very feature. That all of the divisions are on major arteries or geographic lines. That's important, I think. Because it dispels the idea of gerrymandering to some extent.
All right. So Chris, we will work on getting you some maps as soon as possible. And then for Annabelle, if you'd like to reach out, I can send you my email. If you would like to input something, we can make arrangements to make that possible for you.
Okay.
Her mute is on, so.
Yeah, no, she's coming.
It says, can you place me, or can you place it in the chat? Thank you. Oh, yeah, sorry.
All right.
All right.
So Bob, we've already formally closed the public hearing, correct?
Yes, you have.
So there's no other action needed at this point.
Correct.
All right. Thank you very much for your help tonight, Chris. Well, I'll be in contact with you Monday or tomorrow just to clarify anything else.
All right. Feel free to email me at any time as well. Okay, Colby?
No problem. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, Chris.
Goodbye, Bob.
All right.
Sounds like we're pretty much close to the same page now.
Yeah, I don't think we're vastly far off. No,
No, I don't think so.
whatever.
Madam President, are you ready for item 5.3?
Yes, we are. Thank you, Mr. Colby. Please go forward.
Item 5.3 is discussion and possible approval of a new roof, not a roof, for Wanamaker Gymnasium. With the recent rains we received, we had some leaking happen out there that staff discovered. Bringing out a roofer to look at it, and the age of the roof, it was just not recommended for patchwork. We could patch it, but it's only gonna last, you know, you're putting a Band-Aid on something that's just disintegrated. So staff just prepared a bid, went out, public bid is required by law. Because we anticipated it exceeding $25,000. As you can see from the bids we received. Just informational for the board. In compliance with public works law, anybody doing construction type work for a public agency must be registered with the Department of Industrial Relations. And that has to do with the payment of prevailing wage for their employees. And that has to be, they have to be registered at the time of their bid. That was put in place 7, 8 years ago now. And it's done that way so a contractor can't bid a job and say, hey, I was low bid, and then go register at the DIR. Because it does cost $400 or $500 a year now to be registered. All of the bidders are registered at the DIR at the time of the bid, and based on the results, staff is recommending All Seasons Installation Incorporated for a total of $39,970. The one caveat in everybody's bid, and if you guys had to put a new roof on your home as well, they always put a caveat in there of replacing any unseen roofing, because they're not going to tear it up to give us a bid. So we are requesting a 10% contingency for replacement of any underlayment that may need to be addressed once we get it opened. This roof was put on in 1996, so we're at what, 26 years now. We've got our 25 years out of it as it was a 25-year roof when we installed it. With that, it'd be available if any questions you may have.
The new roof, how many years is it guaranteed for?
Oh geez, I believe it was another 25. I will verify that for you.
No, it's a 25-year roof, but they don't guarantee it for 25 years.
No, workmanship is a year and materials are 10. But it's designed, it should have a life of 25 years.
That's what I meant.
And this is a similar product to what we used at the roof on Skyview Event Center. It's almost like a rubber membrane.
And it's the same quality as all the other bidders.
Yeah, they also, we provided them a spec from a manufacturer, and they bid upon that spec. They could have submitted, we have to allow them to submit an alternative. Nobody submitted an alternative. And then in doing so, we'd have to verify it. We'd have to say, yes, this meets our specifications as an equal. But nobody did that. Everything's based upon the product that we recommended. Or that we requested.
It's a little concerning that the bids were such a wide range.
That's not uncommon in public works bids, especially in this current bidding environment. Contractors are busy, and some of them will throw out a bid knowing it's high and say, hey, if I get it, I'll take the extra work. If not, I don't need it right now.
So
And we're seeing that across the board, hearing that from other colleagues, other agencies, that their bids are coming in ridiculous spreads.
and the low bidder isn't busy.
I don't know. He's local. He's in Colton, literally just up Rubio Boulevard as it turns. So it may just be something that he can save a lot of money, just did not have to pay drive time. I don't know.
And he pays Inland Empire prices for rent and
I'm sorry.
he pays Inland Empire prices for rent as opposed to LA prices for rent for his facility. You see what
I have no idea, but yes, everybody with the prevailing wage theoretically is bidding the same dollar amount in labor. It's just a matter of hourly rate. It's just a matter of, I can get this done in 150 man hours versus 500 man hours.
How long would it take them to get it done? Stacy?
They're about a week for strip down and
Is the gym still usable during that?
the gym will still be usable. Yes.
If it takes 2 years for us to get a good enough rate to see if it leaks, will they still warranty it? It's
Correct.
that 1 year.
Well, it's only a 1 year on workmanship.
That's, we don't necessarily get rain in that 1 year.
I know, that's the problem with the roof, unfortunately.
Well, Madam Chairman, unless, okay, I move that the Board of Directors accept the bid from All Seasons Installation for $39,970 and authorize a 10% contingency for the replacement of the Wanamaker Gym roof at Avalon Park and authorize the general manager to sign all required documents.
I'll second that.
All right.
Okay. And all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? All right, it passes unanimously. Thank you.
I'm sorry, where are we?
Item 5.4, Madam Chairman. This is an informational item more than anything, kind of ceremonial. We received a donation from Little League, Hooper Valley Little League for improvements at Knowles Field. The board does need to accept it. I instead of putting this on consent calendar, I didn't want to have it on the agenda more so just to thank Little League for their partnership with the district. We are doing some improvements at those fields, and they were in a financial situation that they were able to contribute this $3,400 that's going directly into additional improvements at those fields. We are bringing in about 100 tons of new brick dust, and they're essentially paying for the company to come in and laser level it, get the proper pitch and arcs and everything on it. A number of years ago when I started here, the relationship with Little League is not what it is now. And they have definitely put them in a situation that they are financially sound and stable and wanting to make additional improvements to the facility. So I just wanted to point that out to the board and thank staff for working closely with Little League and the Little League Board of Directors. They're all volunteers for contributing to the improvement of our facilities.
Thank you.
We do need a motion though.
I move the board of directors accept the donation from Hooper Valley Little League for improvement at Knowles Field.
I second that motion.
All right, thank you very much. And all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Right. Oh, I'm really gonna keep it short tonight, guys. I don't like keeping that report. Wind, that's all I gotta say. Wind, unfortunately cut market night short the other night. Kicked up right before the event started and, you know, understandably, a number of the vendors were losing product and they were afraid of damage. So a good chunk of them closed up and left early. Knock on wood, we haven't had any major trees fall within our parks. We have seen some minor limb damage and stuff along those lines. I think everything that's gonna fall over is falling over at this point. It's been blowing for, I don't know, day 37, it seems like. I think it's only a week and a half, but you know, we're tired of it just like everybody else is. It's wreaking havoc amongst the maintenance staff. It blows trash, as we talked about before the meeting, trash cans going everywhere. When your trash gets blown over as a resident, it tends to end up in the park, you know, up against a wall or a fence, and they make great backstops. You know, backstops at baseball fields make great catches for trash. So, you know, kudos to our maintenance department. They are doing the best they can to keep up on it. While you guys are out about the city, if you see something, please let me know. We'll make sure we get on it. It's within our property. If not, we'll let the proper agency know of it. Youth basketball is going well. We are into our second week of games now, third week actually coming this weekend. We're excited for that. We've had a number of new classes starting at Skyview Event Center as well. They're being received by the public, and so we're excited about that. Other than that, I just want to publicly thank Ms. Bogus here as she gave you guys information prior to the meeting. We will be switching over our payroll processing to a new service. Right now, we're currently using 3 apps for human resources, payroll, and scheduling, and we will be combining into a one-stop shop. And she has been extremely focused on that the last couple of weeks here, and I see the light in the tunnel. I think she is very glad for that. So thank you to her for all that hard work. And then just to staff in general, you know, the last 8 weeks here with the spike in the pandemic has stretched us thin in both our maintenance and our recreation department. But at no time did we ever, were we not able to serve the residents of the district at any time. So they've done a phenomenal job in doing that. Currently, the mask mandate is scheduled to go away in most situations on Wednesday. It still will be required in compliance with the Department of Public Health in our after-school program at Vanderbilt Elementary School, as well as our top program, top time under the guidance as childcare. There'll be our staff and participants are required to wear masks. Other than that, we will be encouraging social distancing and all that fun stuff associated with it. So thank you, and I'd be available for any questions.
All of our shade sails are holding up well with the wind.
Yeah, nothing, no rips, no tears, no.
We went to the consistency of the winds over the past 10 days. It worried me.
Yeah, no, it's, yeah. We're doing well.
Okay.
Any other questions of Mr. Good? We do have committee reports and our schedules.
Madam Chairman, we do have other board comments as well.
Okay, do we want to begin with Mr. Lazier?
Oh, I have no comment to make, other than I guess, market night, I still felt was sort of a success, even though the winds because we got there a little later than normal and there were still people coming in the parking lot, even as people were taking stuff down. So I would still consider that a success, that people were gonna go out and fight those winds. So that's really all I have to say.
Thank you. Ms. Johnson?
I just wanted to thank again, Hearst Valley Little League, really appreciate their donation and their interest in helping us maintain Mills Field for their use. Really do appreciate that very much. I went to market night, got some tacos from one of the trucks. They were delicious. We got 2 cinnamon rolls. They're always delicious. But I did not get as many cinnamon rolls as Mr. Godinez. Yeah, so I really enjoyed that. And I know that while they were frustrated with the wind, everybody I talked to, all the vendors were, they're still committed to that event. It's just, yeah. That was all. Sorry.
Thank you. Mr. Godinez?
Unfortunately, market night, wasn't what we had hoped, but it was pretty good. Considering, hopefully we can work with our vendors, the ones that left early because they really couldn't set up. Thank you to Sweet Dough for always showing up. That's the cinnamon roll vendor. And yeah, thank you to our staff. I had mentioned something to you, Colby, that happened in the park, and they marked it up and they're ready to take care of it. Saw that. And if you're proud of the staff, then that's a reason for us to be proud as well.
Thank you. Mr. Godinez?
I wasn't at market night, but I heard about the wind situation and the wind hasn't gone away for the last week. So hopefully we don't have to deal with that the next time. But I heard that it was still relatively successful. And that's a sign that, as well to you all staff that being handled very well. Also, thank you to the Hearst Valley Little League as well for the donation and for their investment in the facility and for all the activities that they engage in. And that's it for me.
Thank you. Myself included, as I heard your report, Colby, I thought that was very nice of you to make mention of that. And to me, that says that your staff yourself involved have built a good relationship. And that is truly what we want with everything that we do. So thank you for letting us know that that is happening. And do we have any committee meeting schedules?
We did have the budget, not the budget, I'm sorry, the ad hoc bylaws committee met, and they reviewed some information, and we're gonna be getting back together. I don't know if either one of you want to give another further update on that?
No, I don't think there's an update to do at this time.
Okay. We do have a number of committee meetings scheduled. We have a budget personnel meeting scheduled for February 15th, park planning, February 17th, recreation special events and facility policy, February 16th, and Veterans Memorial Wall, February 22nd. Busy week and a half.
Yes. I'm sorry, Ms. Johnson.
No, I said goodness. Oh, just all of a sudden, all those committee meetings.
Meetings are up, as they say. Do I have any other item, Madam Secretary?
Unless anybody has a request for a future board meeting, agenda item.
All right, just to clarify on the minutes, for item 524 that we approved from the last time. I think I also mentioned a report on trails for future. That we're gonna have to get for a future item, not anytime soon, but whenever.
Okay. Correct.
All righty, Madam Secretary, the time is.
Looks like we have covered all the items, and our next meeting will be February 24th here at this location. So we have completed all items on our agenda.
And what time is it?
I'm sorry, the time is 7:48.
Thank you so much. Well, thank you to all. It was very interesting. As I said, I was a listener tonight. I wish I'd had a piece of paper that I could put in front of me and go along with you. But thank you for all your enthusiasm. As I said, when you're a listener and hear you all, we're such a team. It's just really nice to hear. Our meeting is adjourned.
That's going to hand
Thank
out
you all.
the markers.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank
Good night, everybody.
With the small one, but I don't know if it's big enough, so then so pick your favorite one and do your very best.